Welcome to the Car Guys and welcome to this week's episode on budget track cars. For 10 grand, can you get yourself a track monster? We're going to be finding out when we drive this Clio 182.
Right, here we go. Slid into the Clio Cup. Well, it's not a Clio Cup, it's a 172, but this is the proper track day monster. We'll take you around all the various different bits in a minute, but let's get belted up and go for a drive. First thing you notice is that the seats in this car are way below where they would normally be. We have 4 racing buckets in here, lovely carbon fibre items. The padding in them isn't, I would say, probably non-existent, but actually once you're encased in it, it's pretty good. Now it's noisy in here, so I'm going to raise my voice so you can hear me, because obviously all the sound editing has been literally stripped out and thrown in a skip. So if you're looking to get into the track car market, and this is probably an ideal time to think about it, because the track day season at the moment is coming to an end. Maybe you've done a couple in your road car and you want more fun and you want to explore your driving capabilities and your skills a little bit more. This is an ideal time to get yourself in the market for track cars. There's going to be a lot going for sale. People that have come to the end of their seasons want to upgrade, looking to try something different, so you'll be able to pick yourself up something similar to this that you can then work on over the winter through to when the season starts again in March. So first impressions are, as I say, you're sitting very, very low in this car. I can just about see over the top of the steering wheel. The column's super high and the steering wheel is super close to me. This is partly due to the electric power steering that's been fitted to this car, and the reason for that is in this particular 172 we are running an off-the-shelf turbocharged kit. That's right, people, this is a 2-litre turbocharged Renault Clio. If the Renault Clio wasn't good at the start, it bloody is now, because it's running a proper horsepower. So we're up about 50 brake horsepower from the standard 172, and we're up about 80 pound-foot of torque, 80 pound-feet, and with a weight reduction of around 100 kilos. Obviously it was probably about 120 before we put the cage in it and did the power steering and all the other bits and pieces. This car absolutely flies. The only downside is, with all of that torque steer. She's a little bit jumpy when you give it a bit of beanage, which we will do in a minute. We're currently running what can only be described as cut slicks on this car, Toyo R888Rs. It's a bit difficult to get heat in them today because it's a bit cooler, but we've been running it for a little while, about half an hour, to let the car warm up before we started filming, and you can already feel the grip change in the front end. Another thing I like, and something you should consider if you're getting one of these cars, is the electric power steering conversion. The reason for doing that is if you decide to go down the turbocharger route, you'll find that the normal power steering gets cooked by the turbocharger and the heat coming off of that, which means that it tends to throw its belt straight into the cam belt, which then lunches your engine, which is bad. That is wrong and bad. So the electric power steering works on the column itself, but you can adjust it. So there's a little knob down to my right where I can change how much additional assistance it's giving me. But it's still a little bit exciting. We have to be careful around here because it's a bit bumpy. Can you hear that dump valve? How amazing is that? One of the great things about having a turbocharger is obviously that dump valve. Give me a bit of beans. Woo! driving briskly and enthusiastically, but that's all part of the thrill and the danger. You can put earplugs in if it bothers you. So if you get a car now ready for next year's track days, what it enables you to do is there's lots of different things that you can add to your car. There's lots of different tweaks that you can make to improve it over the course of its lifetime in your care and as your track car. So one of the important things to consider is brakes, for example. So we definitely obviously need brakes, and on a track you want those brakes to work better, so you don't want them to fade. So there's quite a lot of things that you can do. You can start off by getting different pads, then you can get different fluids, then you can go to the big brake kit, which enables you to have calipers with different brake pads in them with different fluids, and then you can go to the full conversion where you get a whole brand new master cylinder, new pedal box, and we've just come literally to the end of the road. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we found the edge of Essex, and as such, I'm having to turn round. Otherwise, I would be getting wet, and that wouldn't be fun at all, would it? Oh. See, it's got power steering, but it's still a bit of a struggle. We should go back the way we came. So in the same way that you can upgrade the brake components and you can add different things, you can change it throughout a season even if you choose to, you can do the same thing with the suspension. So you can keep the standard suspension and buy different springs, then you could upgrade the dampers, and then you could opt for a full coil-over system, and that ranges in price from £1,000 to £1,000 a corner to £5,000 a corner, depending on how much money you want to spend and how serious that you want to get. Every component of this car can be upgraded to a certain level. It's almost like playing Need for Speed or one of those other video games where you go to the garage and you upgrade different components. This is a real life version of doing that. You get a basic standard car and you just keep upgrading and tweaking it. The first thing I would do straight out of the box is buy new tyres. Tyres make such a difference to the handling of a car. Ditch the old ones, get yourself a different set of rims, hey presto, a set of tyres. Oh yeah, see, I love the way it just corners like it's on rails, and you can, it still maintain that really playful Clio action of lifting its little rear wheel like a little cocker spaniel. Oh please make it go faster, make it go faster. These Clios are all about the front end. The back end just kind of follows you around and cocks a rear wheel occasionally, and that's still, this has still retained that character. Admittedly, you have to be going a little bit faster than normal in order to make it work, but that's very pleasing that it still does that. It just goes to show what an amazing chassis these Renaults had when they were brought out. And before you all comment, yes, I know it's a 182. I know that. I know it's a 182. I'm just old and I forget things, okay? My brain's adult. A couple of other interesting little things to point out. The angle that you're sitting at, because you're so much lower, means that the throttle pedal is halfway up your foot. That's an odd experience. And I found myself laying my foot almost completely on its side so I can still use my toe. I don't think that's a very good way of driving. So I'm trying to not do that. My knees are quite high because the floor is so close to the bottom of the seat. I don't think I'd want to sit much further away from the steering wheel because I feel like I need to really kind of grab it and really take hold of it. I love the fact that the gear stick is so high though, because it falls to hand very, very easily. This is obviously an aftermarket gear stick and gear selector, which looks like it's sequential, but it isn't. Notice the full roll cage, so this goes all the way down past the dashboard as well, so it misses the dashboard, bolts into the floor at the front, door bars, which makes it really interesting getting into and out of. And when I say interesting, I mean literally tripping over the thing and falling flat on your face and making yourself look like a complete tit. Right, so we have a bit of straight road here, so we're going to give it a bit of beanage. Are you ready? Little bit of beanage, second gear, 20 miles an hour. Let's have some turbo action. Foot to the floor. Here comes the turbo. Right, kid, that's a bit swirly, swirly. That's really swirly, swirly. So this car is actually fitted with a limited slip, which does help stop the whole torque steer from literally overwhelming the steering and punting you off into the nearest ditch at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You do definitely need two hands on this steering wheel, that's for sure. And this steering wheel is decked out in lovely hand-mung Alcantara. The edges are worn gently with a nice smear of hand snot, just to make you feel at home. Yes, I will be washing myself after I get out of this car. So let's say you're in the market for a track car and you like the idea of owning a Clio like this. What kind of money are you looking to spend to get yourself on the first rung of the ladder? Well, if you were to buy a very basic normal car that hadn't had anything done to it, you'd be looking at spending about £2.5 grand to start with, and then all of the things that this car has on it, you're probably looking at spending another £6,000 to £7,000 on the various different kits and cages and brakes and seats and harnesses and all of the other bits and pieces. However, the advantage of doing it in that way is that you can add bits as your budget allows. Now, if you want to go the next step, or if you want to let someone else do those bits for you, and you want to buy a car that's similar to this, that's already had some bits done on it, then you're going to be looking at spending between £6,500 and £7,000 for a car that's probably already stripped, already caged, got the turbo kit on it, probably got big brakes. That obviously gives you less scope to add your own mark to it or to do the things that you want, but it does give you an out-of-the-box car that you can take to a track day and have a lot of fun in. Right, okay, so we've spoken about it quite a lot, this car, so let's just give it a little bit of a go. We've got some little bits of typical, always bloody lorry. We've got some lanes around here, relatively smooth tarmac. I've learned now that because of all the torque that you've got with this engine, we don't really need to go down all the way down to second and scare the living bejesus out of ourselves. We can go pretty quickly just using third and fourth. And actually this is a fairly decent bit of tarmac. It's not too bumpy, so it can be quite... So you can heel and toe it fairly easily. Oh yeah, feel that back end picks up. Boost comes in, wonderful. Oh, our fun has been killed by the roadworks. So in summary, I hope you enjoyed this little video on track day cars and what you can expect to get if you decide to lump for a Clio as your toy. It's been a lot of fun today. I want to thank Adrian for lending us the car. It is quite something. We love it in this Ford RS green. Black roof really sets it off. Absolutely brilliant car. The only addition I would say is Gold wheels. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Gold wheels. Yeah. That's going to be Adrian's next upgrade. I'm telling you. Vote down below if you think he should get gold wheels on this car. We all know it's true. So in summary, what do we love? What do we hate? What do we think needs to be changed or could be upgraded? I think for starters, the thing that I love the most is the upgrade turbo on this car. That has made such a difference to the engine and the drivability of it. It's absolutely superb. I also love the fact that we can change how powerful the power steering is or how easy it is. So if you want to just go down to Tesco's for your weekly shopping, you can turn the thing right up to full assistance and have a very easy time of it. I love the seating position, the fact that you're sitting so low. These carbon buckets actually aren't as uncomfortable as they look when you first get in the car. Things that I don't like about it, I'm not overly keen on the length of the travel of the throttle pedal, just because it makes it quite difficult. If you're on full power and you go over a bump, the car tends to kangaroo a little bit up and down the road. From a heel and toe perspective on the road, the brake pedal's quite high. Now obviously that's not an issue on track because you're pushing the pedal much harder, but for normal road driving that's a bit of a pain. And I don't like it's got silver wheels. But seriously, this is a really good car. It's a great little car. It's a brilliant fun toy. Even if you decided not to do track days and you just wanted a fun road car that wasn't your normal car, this would be absolutely spot on. So thanks for watching the Car Guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave comments because we read every single one of them. Ding that notification bell for when we have another episode uploaded, and we'll see you on the next one next week.